Cities across Asia are spending billions of dollars preparing for climate change. But after a disaster strikes, one of the biggest questions often facing city leaders is not what needs to be done, but who pays for it. Grace Shin standing by at the World Cities Summit in Singapore to find out the answers to that question. Grace, over to you.
Right, Ella. So climate resilience is no longer a future challenge for cities. It's an immediate one. And after Auckland's devastating floods in 2023, few city leaders understand that better than my next guest. Joining me now is Auckland's Mayor Wayne Brown. Thank you so much for joining us this hour, Mayor. Now, my first question to you is, after the 2023 Auckland floods, I think many cities around the world could learn from some of the mistakes or actually some of the exemplary policies that were implemented. Why don't you walk us through?
We had to learn ourselves, actually, because we were very poorly prepared for that, actually. It was such a mess. I actually got blamed for the weather, which was a bit unfair. But so we've learned a lot, and we've done a lot since then. It started off with very poor weather forecasting. They said we were expecting 20 mils of rain, and in fact we got 400 mils of rain, and it peaked at an intensity of 80 millimetres per hour in some places. And so we've learnt a lot. We've put a lot of cameras around the whole city. We're connecting them up with AI, and we're teaching the people in the communities how to use those cameras so that they can see better what's going on. We've spent a lot of time with online stuff for the people to get on and see what flood risk they've got in their place. A lot of people didn't realise they were in risky places, and a lot of houses were put in places which weren't that clever in the first place. And so we had to buy up nearly 2,000 houses and pick them up, put them on trucks and take them somewhere else, and clear valleys for making space for waters, and those places are kind of long lineal parks. I saw one here in Singapore yesterday, and it was very good to see. But it used to have a concrete drain and didn't have enough room, so knock the concrete drain and create a whole valley.
Right.
And people go there and they love a park, but it actually works for water. And so we've done very well with that. And I'm encouraging other mayors from other places to come and have a look, because they might get one of these bad storms, and it happened out of the blue. And because we're surrounded by ocean, and Australia's running out of water, but water's running out of New Zealand, and so we had to be able to prepare for that. A lot of people also, not only do they not know that they were in a dangerous place, telling people and explaining to them has changed their behaviour, but they're realising it's in their interest to clean the drains out. Don't just wait for somebody else to do it. If you've got a drain outside your house, clean it out yourself. People that built solid timber fences just think it's a fence, but the water didn't know it's just a fence, and so they diverted the water through their own houses in some cases,
right,
or through their neighbours' houses. And so people have had to learn to think about where they are.
I think what's notable here is that you mentioned that you want other city leaders to come and also see how Auckland has developed since. And it's because this is no longer a problem just constrained to Auckland itself. It can happen anywhere else in the world. But looking back, what do you think Auckland should have done before 2023 that other city leaders have time to prepare for?
Well, it's one of those things you don't really think about until it happens,
right,
in a way. And I think the first thing you got to do is think, that could have been us. And my predecessors, I'd only just become the mayor at the time. It was an absolute shambles. The council didn't even have my phone number. And there was another guy called Wayne Brown working in there, and they rang him, and he thought, well, this is pretty good. They're telling me what's going on. And no one told me, because you can only see what you can see. And Auckland is an unbelievably spread out city. It takes more than 2 hours to drive from one side to the other. And so it's far too spread out. We're trying to intensify it. We're trying to stop people building in bad areas. We're doing some zoning to intensify so they build in sensible places and don't build in dumb places. And we've got these blue-green networks. We're spending a lot of money on stormwater network maintenance and creating these linear parks. It'll go on for a long time. We've finished quite a few of them, but we're going to be doing these sorts of things for decades, really. And so that there's some good examples if you want to come and see a city that's done these things. There are other things that we didn't have as much control over the ability to say no to some things as we thought we would have. There were some subdivisions where people had got approval to come to get approval to build a subdivision, put houses on, and the council had said no, and had gone off to some environmental court, and some stupid judges overruled it. And that's turned out to be very expensive because you can't sue a judge, and the houses all slipped on these ones, and then the houses actually weren't damaged, so they didn't get any insurance, but the land was ruined, and so there was a problem. And so
I think you're shedding light to reality. It happens when you don't expect it to happen, and then there's so many procedures to go through. But now that Auckland has learned its lesson, do you think residents are on board too? That they believe
very much so. I mean, we've done some things here that we've got a thing called Flood Viewer, which you can go online and you can go online and have a look at it. It'll tell you about Auckland, but you could have it in any city. And it looks at your property. Look at where we are. We're safe, not so safe. Could be a bit safer. We found that 1 in 4 viewers did some property changes. You know, they got rid of a fence that was in the wrong place. They thought about something or other. 35% of the people were surprised to find they were in a risky area. 2/3 of them felt much more confident in managing because they've got some information about their property and they can see and their communities. And they did more things. They do their drains, they clean their downpipes, they do all that sort of stuff that's easy to forget. And they work with their neighbours. And so, and the insurance industry has a big place to play here because we're going to need insurance industries out there, but they've got to make a profit. And that, you know, there was $2 billion US in claims, a big pile of money. And so I've been talking to insurance industries. I said, don't just put everybody up 10%. Work out that some people, everybody doesn't want to subsidise people who are in dumb places. So if you're going to build a house on top of a cliff, cliffs grow backwards. You're going to have a problem. So if you're on top of a cliff, hit them hard with their insurance. They're going to pay more because people like me that live on a ridge up in top of this multi-storey building, I'm not going to get flooded out either. I don't really want to have my insurance policies put up to cover some idiot who's built on top of a cliff or somebody who's in a valley. And so I'm saying if the people who are in a valley, increase their insurance. And so even insurance didn't think that they were involved in having to make these decisions. Everybody's involved. Everybody's got to see better about it, and we have to have much better information.
Exactly.
And we've done a lot about that now. We've got 20,000 virtual rain gauges around the place because the forecasting was dreadful, really.
Forecasting was dreadful, but I do think the policy implementation following afterwards, and at least from now on, through the example of Auckland, other city leaders can follow through, whether it be getting insurance companies on board, residents on board, but at the end of the day,
all of those things.
Correct.
And you yourself have got to stop doing dumb stuff. Like we had, there's a competition between the drainage guys in the council and the roading guys in the council. And you've got it here, everywhere's got it. And so if the roading guy's a really strong character, he wins. And so they put a road across this valley there.
Exactly.
And you're thinking, that's really stupid. The road, the valley here, the road should dip over that so that if the block's under the road, it goes over the road in one place. But we had situations where the roading guy had said, no, get lost. I'm putting the road here. So the drain underneath filled up. And so instead of going over the road,
drainage systems are also very important.
It went that way along there and flooded a whole lot of houses. So a lot of houses flooded that shouldn't have flooded because people weren't thinking.
People weren't thinking. And Mayor Brown, that's all we have for the time. But as much as you've been emphasizing, I think it's about urgency and addressing the right problems. And that's what's been shown in the city of Auckland. We learned that there were mistakes not to repeat and hoping that's implemented in other parts of the world. But in the meantime, that's all the coverage we have here for this hour at the World Cities coverage. Back to you.